Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Dr. Ali Elzeiny from the Weekend Islamic School, and today, inshallah, we're going to learn. This is the Arabic class, and today, inshallah, we're going to learn how to convert from one form of the verb to the other form, to other forms of the verbs. And the way to do that is by using this table. For example, if we have the verb zara'a, so zara'a sounds like fa'ala. Zara'a sounds like fa'ala. Okay, if we want to get the present tense of fa'ala, then it's yaf'alu, which means yazra'u. Yaf'alu, yazra'u. Sayaf'alu, sayazra'u. So we can see how can I use the sounding on this table to convert the verb from different forms. So if it is one female, if we want to convert to one female, then fa'ala becomes fa'alat. Taf'alu, sataf'alu. So fa'alat is, so if we have to convert the verb zara'a, so to the one F, one female or single female, is going to be zara'at, taf'alu, tazra'u, sataf'alu, satazra'u. And we notice that the future tense is the present tense. Okay, same exactly like present tense, but we have seen at the beginning. So that's a rule that always work, that the future is just the present plus seen at the beginning. So yaf'alu, sayaf'alu, taf'alu, sataf'alu, yaf'ala, sayaf'ala. So the whole thing is just adding seen at the beginning. Okay, and so forth. For example, if I want to convert into 2M or 2F present tense, then you say, if it's a past tense, it's fa'altuma, zara'tuma, fa'altuma, zara'tuma. Or present tense, taf'ala, tazra'a, taf'ala, tazra'a. You see? So this way we can convert from one form of the verb to other forms of the verb. Okay? And the other table that we use a lot in doing the homework especially is table 630. Table 630? No, it's table 610. Where we get to see the pronouns. So for example, detached pronouns, I is ana, we is nahnu. That's for the first person. And to property wise, they say my means you attach the y at the end. So sayyara becomes sayyarati. Warda becomes wardati. Asal becomes asali. So you can just add ya at the end, or say this is for me, this is mine, this is mine. So this is mine, you say li. So هذه السيارة li. Or you can say milki. So there are three ways to define the property. For the purpose of this homework, we would be dealing with column number 3 here to get the pronouns for different forms. First person, second person, third, fourth person, 1M, 1F, 2M, 2F, 3 plus M, 3 plus F. Okay? Okay. You notice that for the first person, we just have choices, either I or we. So if it's singular, it's I, which is ana. If it is more than singular, like double, or which is 2 plus or 3 plus, 2 plus or 3 plus, then it's nahnu. That's we. That's all. But for the second person, we have the 1M and 1F, 2M, 2F, 3M, 3 plus M, 3 plus F. Here we have just I and we. Ana and nahnu. Okay? Here, anta, anti. So second person. Anta, you, for one male. For one female, anti. For two male or two female, antuma. For 3 plus male is antum. For 3 plus female is antunna. You see? So we can use these tables to do the homework. And the procedure of the homework is also given. So let's do the homework. Basically, in the homework, I just ask you to translate these English phrases to Arabic. As usual, just translate it to Arabic. Okay? So, and then I give you an example of the procedure. Usually, just like we said, table 610 and table 1130. We'll be using this. And we'll be using this example here to show you how do you get it. Okay. So, you thanked Muhammad. Anta or antunna shakartunna Muhammadan. Antunna shakartunna Muhammadan. Antunna shakartunna Muhammadan. How do we get that? Okay, we see you for 3 plus F. I go to this table, which is table 610. U for 3 plus F is right here. U for 3 plus F is right here. It's at row 9, column 3, row 9, column 3 is antunna. So for U, 3 plus F is antunna. Okay, so here is antunna. Comes from table 610, row 9, column 3. Okay, now then the verb thank is shakara. The verb thank is shakara. So now I want to do thanked for 3 plus female. I don't need to just repeat this and say, okay, this is 3 plus female. Then this is 3 plus female too. I don't do that. Why? Because it's understood. If you is for 3 plus female, then thanked is for 3 plus female too. It's okay. So I don't need to repeat it and say you 3 plus female, thanked 3 plus female. Okay. Okay. So we have shakara. So we go back to table 1130. So shakara, as usually, it's the root, which is fa'ala. So we have shakara, fa'ala. Okay, this is called sounding or wazn. Shakara, fa'ala. So the wazn of shakara is fa'ala. Okay, So right now I have 3 plus female. So I go to 3 plus female. Okay. And I see فعلنا. I see فعلنا. Okay. So for 3 plus female, I see فعلنا. Or that's a second person. I'm sorry. It's you. Second person. So you go back here. It is here. فعلتن. فعلتن. So شكر, it sounds like فعل. I want to convert it into 3 plus female for the second person. So فعلتن. So if it's this, if this is فعل, this becomes فعلتن, which means if this is شكر, شكرتن. زرع, زرعتن. كتب, كتبتن. Okay. حصد, حصدتن. Okay. So this is how we convert it using the sounding. Okay. So that's here from here, which is table 1130, row 9, column 3. It says that فعلتن is شكرتن. It says that فعلتن, and so شكر becomes شكرتن. شكرتن because it sounds like فعلتن. Okay. And just a reminder that the subject is mansub. So if we're talking about Muhammad, Muhammad is a single noun. So use table 290 just to reminder to get the haraka, to get the proper haraka. So table 290. So Muhammad is a single noun. Muhammad is a single noun. And the sarf is allowed. Therefore, mansub is fatha. So we will be using column 5 because the subject is always mansub. The subject, not the subject. That's the object. The object. The object is always mansub. So that's we use column 6. We use column 5. We use column 5 because column 5 is for mansub. Okay, column 5 is for mansub. Let's see. Here we go. Column 5 is for mansub. Okay, so Muhammad, mansub is going to be Muhammadan. And as we agreed before, if you have tanween fatha, then you just add an alif and you put the tanween on the top of the alif. So this is valid unless you have ta' marbuta. Then in this case, that's not valid. You don't need the alif basically if it's a ta' marbuta, because ta' marbuta has to be the last letter in the word. So you can't add an alif. So Muhammadan. Why Muhammadan? Number 1 is that fatha, mansub here is fatha. Mansub is fatha here. Mansub is fatha. So فعلتن Muhammadan becomes, so Muhammadun is wrong. Muhammadin is wrong because mansub is fatha. So Muhammadan. Muhammadan. Whether sarf is allowed or not allowed is fatha. So really, I don't care about sarf in this case because whether it's allowed or not allowed is fatha. However, whether we need tanween or we don't need tanween depends on the sarf. Muhammadan sarf is allowed. Okay, it's not one of those cases. None of those cases. Cases 1 to 8 where sarf is forbidden. Just remember, Muhammad sarf is allowed, but Ahmad sarf is forbidden. Meaning what? meaning that if I'm going to say Ahmed instead of Muhammad, okay, if I'm going to say Ahmed instead of Muhammad, then I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say Ahmed, Ahmada, Ahmada. I'm going to say Ahmada. So سكون ما دا. What happened? Can I say Ahmadan? So copy this. Can I say it like this? Ahmadan. Can I say it like this? No. Why not? Because sarf is not allowed. Sarf is not allowed. So basically, if it's Ahmada, then there is no tanween because sarf is not allowed. Sarf is not allowed. So here we cross this one out and say sarf is not allowed. Okay, this is of course if we say you thanked Ahmed. Okay, so usually I give you the word to be sarf is allowed so that I don't get you to bother to look up if it's not or if it's yes or not. Just keep in mind, Ahmed, just keep it in mind that Ahmed sarf is forbidden, unlike Muhammad where sarf is allowed. Okay, so Ahmada is correct, Ahmadan is wrong. Okay, now let's do you think Muhammad. You think Muhammad. So what is the difference between this number 1 and this number 2? The difference is that in number 1, it is thanked, so it's a past tense. And number 2, it is thank, which means it's a present tense. So everything is the same except it's present tense. So the only thing that will change is the verb. So I copy this here and I change the verb. Okay, now where do I get the verb from sounding? I want to convert shakara. I want to convert shakara into the 3+ female or present tense 3+ female. So I go back to this table here, table 1130, where I convert. You know, all of these rules we just use, you know, usually couple of rules, like 2 rules, 3 rules. It's really simple. When you follow the procedure, systematic procedure, it's like grammar. Like grammar is like algorithm. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1, use table X. Step 2, use table Y. Step 3. So you can do steps and you can follow these steps. And to make life easy for you, I just do the steps here and I show you. So that basically what you do is just follow what I did. Okay, so thank, we go to the table. We have, I've given you shakara. which is the root. And shakara is fa'ala here. Shakara is fa'ala. Here, shakara is fa'ala. That's this one here. So what I need the present tense for 3 plus F. You 3 plus F present tense. Okay, so you is the second person. 3 plus F is right here. So 3 plus F is right here. 3 plus F is right here. Okay. And that column 3 is the past tense. Column 4 is the present tense. So I go back here. So you 3 plus F. So فعل becomes تفعلنا. فعل becomes تفعلنا. Okay. In example number 1 here, it's the past tense for 3 plus F. It's the past tense. So it is the past tense. So it is going to be فعلتن. So shakara becomes shakartun. Why? Because fa'ala is fa'altun. See, in order to write a table like this, we have to select a verb. Okay? So we can select any verb to write the table. However, the standard way is to use the verb fa'ala. Okay? And then every time you convert another word, you convert it based on the sounding or the wazn. Sounding or wazn. Okay? So zar'a becomes tazra'u. La'iba becomes tal'abu. Okay? I'm sorry. Zara'a here, zara'a, which sounds like fa'ala. I convert it here into 3 plus F, taf'alna, which is tazra'na. And if this la'iba, then tal'abna. Shariba, tashrabna. And so forth. And remember, we're dealing with the standard, we're dealing with the sound verb. Sound verb, as we explained here. Sound verb, the verb that doesn't have no vowel, no alif, no waw, no ya. It doesn't have a hamza, it doesn't have a shadda, and it has 3 letters only. 3 letters, okay? There are other kinds of verbs like we explained before here. And for the other forms of other types of verbs, we don't deal with them in this course. To make the course easy, we just pick here 3 letters. You can have 4 letters. And I have a symbolic, for 3 letters, I do verb, and then I put 3 as a superscript. 4 letters, I say verb, and then I put 4 as a superscript. 5, I put 5. So we're dealing only with 3 here. Verb 3. Okay? And no shadda, no vowels, etc., etc. We have other classifications, like the verb. There are verbs that have 2 objects. So not only 1 object, 2 objects. There is a passive voice and active voice. Passive voice and active voice. And other, but as I said here, we just deal with sound perfect 3 letters verb. Okay? Which is the الفعل الصحيح الفعل الصحيح السالم الفعل الصحيح السالم, the sound perfect verbs. Okay, so here we back here to what we were doing. So the past tense تفعلتن, but the present tense is تفعلنا. تفعلنا. Let's see if I make it bigger here. Will be more clear. Okay, so it is فعل شكر becomes تفعلن تشكرن تفعلن تشكرن. Okay, so that's the only difference. This one شكرتن and this one تشكرن. Okay, let's do this as well. You one female, you one female, go to table 630. Sorry, table 610. You for one female, you is the second person. For one female, okay, you is anti. Anti. And let me give you a warning. Let me give you a warning. Anti is kasra with the ta. However, some people write anti like this. Some people write anti like this. And instead of anti with kasra, they write anti with ya. And the reason they do that is they feel too lazy to write the kasra. Okay? They feel too lazy to write the kasra. That's not correct. But in some Arabic books, like the one that's not using the strict grammar, you might find it with the ya. We might find it with the ya. Okay, so we remove this. So anti so we copy anti from here and we paste it into here. Anti. Okay. Shakarti, we go to table 1130 to convert the verb. We have the root shakara. Okay, so we have the root shakara. Now we want the 1F. You, which is a second person, 1F, one female. Here, فعلتي. And this is tanked, it's a past tense, so it's column 3 here. فعلتي. So فعل becomes فعلتي. Here, I'm sorry. فعل becomes فعلتي. فعل becomes فعلتي. So that's why شكر becomes شكرتي. شكر becomes شكرتي. Because فعل becomes فعلتي. So شكر becomes شكرتي. Now, there is Hamza here, which is not correct because this is Alif Lam, so it's Hamza Wasl. It's not Hamza Qat'. So I'm deleting this Hamza here. Okay? Now, Walad, boy. Oh, that's the man. Okay. Okay, so we need to correct that, or we can just make it the boy. Boy and a boy. Okay, so walad, sarf is, it's a singular, male. Sarf is allowed. However, who cares? Why? Because I have alif lam. If I have alif lam, then there is no tanween. So there is no tanween if you have alif lam. So if I say like this. الولدان. and then put the alif and then put the tanween. Absolutely wrong. Why? Because you can't have tanween and alif lam together. Tanween and alif lam together. This is a rule that's written here. However, these are part of the rules that keep it handy in your brain. Okay? So you don't have to go back and check the rules every time. You just keep it handy in your brain. Okay. Let's say you want to check on it. Then you go back here into the sarf. And it says that nouns that start with alif lam, okay, the cases that cannot have tanween but can have kasra. So any noun that starts with alif lam cannot have tanween. Okay, so therefore this one is wrong. This one is wrong. Okay. However, if it is without alif lam, so a boy without alif lam, then I can have the tanween. Why? Because I don't have the alif lam. Okay? So instead of the boy becomes a boy. So now we can have tanween. Okay. So the default is you have tanween unless it's one of those cases which sarf is forbidden or tanween is forbidden. Okay. And then think for 1F. See here, it's thinked. So it's past tense. Here, think, it's a present tense. So I go back to my table, the table that I used to convert the verbs. And I say, okay, it's 1F and it's you, so it's a second person. 1F and it's a present tense. So present tense is column 4 here. Present tense. You look here, column 4 is present tense. So again, you have the root fa'ala, which is shakara. Okay, shakara. And then for 1F, it is tashkuri. Tashkuri. Why? Because taf'ali sounds like tashkuri. Taf'ali, tashkuri. So here, this one needs to be corrected. Da. And this is fatha. Tashkuri. Tashkuri, and this is kasra. This is kasra. Tashkuri. Okay? So, shakara sounds like fa'ala, becomes tashkuri. Sounds like taf'ali. Okay? Also here, the hamza is wrong, because that is hamzatul wasl. Any hamza for the alif lam, it's hamzat wasl. any hamza for alif lam, it's hamzatul wasl. I'm using the verb think all the time so that you learn the rule on one verb. And it applies for all other verbs, but you learn it on one verb. Okay. Let's go here. You, two male, thanked the soldier. Thanked, of course, I don't need to tell you that thank is two male, of course, because you thanked. If you use two male, then thank is two male. Don't need to say that. Okay. The soldier is al-jundi. The soldier is al-jundi. Okay. So U for 2M. So I go to the table 610. So U, second person, for 2M, whether it's 2M or 2F is the same, and it is, the case is antuma. So it's antuma. Okay, so I copy it from here, antuma, and where did it go? Yes, it's here, antuma. I copy it from here, and I paste it here, antuma. Okay. Now, thanked is a past tense. So I go to rule 11, table 1130. Okay. Past tense is column number 3. So I have the root shakara, which is fa'ala. That's for third person 1M, always. Third person 1M is the root, always. So shakara is the root, which sounds like fa'ala. And then we need to do it for 2M. 2M. You, which is the third person, a second person, 2M. So here, that's 2M. Here, that's 2M. And it is you did. Okay? So, shakara sounds like fa'ala. So, shakartuma is fa'altuma. So, fa'ala, fa'altuma, shakara, shakartuma. Fa'ala, fa'altuma. So means that shakara is going to be shakartuma. So I go here and say shakartuma. Shakartuma. Sha, shin fatha sha, kaf fatha ka, ra sukun ra, ta dhamma tu, mim fatha ma. So shakartuma. Shakartuma. Okay? Al-Jundi. Because we have alif lam, I cannot have tanween. And because Al-Jundi is means soldier, it's one soldier. So mansub, it's an object. Object is mansub is fatha. So Al-Jundiyya. Antuma, shakartuma, al-jundiyya. Okay. Now this is going to be the same like that, but here is going to be thank instead of thanked. So it's going to be present tense. So if it's going to be present tense, then it's going to be taf'ala. So means تشكر. فعل تفعل. شكر تشكر. Okay, so instead of شكرتما becomes تشكر. Okay, so here in this example here, it's for 1M. You thanked the teacher. 1M. So thanked the teacher for 1M. That's the root. See? Actually, no. That's here. That's the second person. That's the second person. Because it's you, it's the second person. Okay. So you. So فعل becomes فعلت, which means شكر becomes, فعل becomes فعلت, which means شكر becomes شكرت. شكر شكرت. فعل فعلت. So here you can see شكرت. شكرت. The verb is شكرت. From table 610, I get for 1M, you 1M, which is the second person 1M, is أنت. So becomes أنت here. So أنت. So أنت شكرت. The teacher is المدرس. And it's منصوب. So منصوب, we put فتحة here because it's منصوب. We put فتحة because it's منصوب. Okay. And because we have an alif lam, we have فتحة. We don't have tanween فتحة. We cannot have tanween because of the alif lam. So that becomes المدرسة. The teacher. المدرسة. المدرسة. So أنت شكرت المدرسة. أنت شكرت المدرسة. Usually when we stop, we convert the last letter into sukun. So if we stop, we say أنت شكرت المدرس. Not المدرسة, المدرس. Why? Because we're going to stop. Stop means sukun. So here, same thing. أنتما شكرتما الجندية. If I'm going to stop, then أنتما شكرتما الجندي. No حركة. No حركة. Stop and حركة are opposite. Sukun means stop. Means not moving. Versus حركة, which is moving. Here, أنتِ تشكري ولدا. If I'm going to continue, means like I'm not going to stop after the third word here. So it becomes أنتِ تشكري ولد. أنتِ تشكري ولد. Why? Because I'm going to stop, so I stop at sukun. So that tanween fatha becomes sukun instead. Okay? So now, here for example, I 1F. So I 1F is أنا. So I copy this أنا. Why is it behaving like that? It shouldn't behave with you like that. I have no idea why it's behaving with me like this. Anyway, I'm supposed to copy this. Supposed to copy Anna and put it here. So I'm just going to write it. Anna. Thank. We go to table 1130. It's a present tense, so it's column 4. And it's singular, 1M. So, فعل becomes أفعل. شكر becomes أشكر. Okay. شكر becomes أشكر. فعل becomes أفعل. So, copy it from here. Actually, no, because I have to type it. أنا أشكر. أنا أشكر. A man is رجل because it's an object that's mansoob. Mansoob is fatha, but because we don't have alif lam, becomes tanween fatha. Tanween fatha, we add the alif and then we put the tanween. Okay, let's see how to do tashkil for this. And instead of doing it yourself, you can resort to al-mishkal. You can resort to al-mishkal. And put it all together. تشكيل. أنا أشكر رجلا. أنا أشكر رجلا. So we just copy it from here like this and paste it back to here. So أنا أشكر رجلا. أنا أشكر رجلا. Okay? So instead of doing the tashkil by yourself, you can go to mishkal, and you don't have to do it word by word in mishkal. You can just do it all together. One sentence. And if you wanna correct rajulan, it's here. If you wanna correct ashkuru, it's here. If you wanna correct ana, it's here. Okay. Okay, so that's it for today. And if you have any questions,